So sometimes in life, you might feel like you're going down the wrong path as you grow up. You're not really prepared for adulting, and you're essentially a child with freedom now. You're kind of told what sounds good as a career and as a life, but as you get older, you just realize something still just feels completely wrong. And it's not your fault, because again, that's just how life has sort of brought you up to be, right? And the thing about it is yeah, you can, develop a good career, have a great life. And again, something still feels wrong because there's going to be something that is deep within you that you can't really explain. Life just doesn't feel right, and what it kind of seemed to be like when you were growing up, essentially. And this is super, super common. And mainly because, again, we're kind of taught within a system since we've been growing up as kids. We've been in the same kind of areas of life, doing the same thing, growing up with the same values and the same kind of things on the TV, and everyone kind of following the same sort of, I guess, instructions and blueprint. And then everyone sort of goes off in their own way, mainly because they have the freedom to do what they kind of want to. And the thing about it is, some people, they do break out of the sort of chain into what they kind of want to do, and they find a way to do it with success. But for a lot of people, they won't, and it's not entirely their fault. Again, everyone kind of has this blueprint that they kind of can achieve within themselves, within their own strengths and weaknesses, within their own kind of self-awareness and courage and faith, in order to kind of fulfill that. Again, if you're kind of more brains, you're going to be better in a brain kind of area. If you're more bronze, you're going to be better in a more kind of brawny industry or something like that, right? And then obviously that coupled with what you actually are interested in, there's ways to combine the two, and then you're pretty much chilling. Also, if I sound very monotone right now, because it's my second time recording, and I've pretty much forgotten what I said on the first one, so yeah. But yeah, you could be, at school or university or college, and you could be maybe doing a course where, you don't really enjoy it. You don't really enjoy sort of doing a lot of things, right, that you're kind of told to do. And this is completely normal, by the way. But what I would say is try to make it as fun as you possibly can. Now, for example, me, I used to hate maths a lot. I wasn't good at it either. But as I'm getting older, I started to realize and have an appreciation for it. Mainly because, you just get some cool kind of maths things that go on around the world, right? Like, for example, I think it's the Fibonacci sequence or something like that. And basically what you can do with that is everyone has their own, everyone has the same ratio from their foot to their hip or knee, and then their hip to their head or something like that. And it's the same sort of distance or calculation or something like that, right? You can actually Google that up. And then it's the same number that Venus and Earth's distance between each other is, or something like that as well. And that's cool. And that's basically makes that kind of stuff fun, right? But that's the thing. Typically, it's usually a result of bad curriculum or teaching, or just the subject in general, just what it's kind of focused on that kind of makes it more boring and kind of feel wrong. But there's a lot of things that you can, I guess, make feel right as well as you sort of grow up, which is a little bit off topic, but yeah. And the thing is, you can still have a higher paying job and you still can have a lot of different things, but again, something still feels wrong. And again, this is mainly because you're not listening to your own blueprint, you're listening to the blueprint of society, right? You're kind of going for and I don't want to sound like one of those guys that says stay above average and things like that, because being average is a pretty normal metric to have just across a large sample size. You're obviously going to get that in every kind of regard, but for some people, in average for some areas might not be the same for other areas. So for example, if you've got diets and things like that, some people can't have wheat or gluten, whereas the kind of average person would require a balanced diet. But for other people, maybe keto or carnivore or a higher fats diet or a higher protein diet would work better for them, right? Just because of their blueprint, right? What they need and what is right for them, rather than following just a balanced diet alone. And the same applies for life, because again, being a child of freedom, each person has their own sort of unique ability to live. The same way you have a unique kind of fingerprint, everyone's got their own different one. that means that their life is going to be the same, because again, not everyone's going to have the exact same physical build with the mental build, with their emotional build, and also on top of that, potentially their soul. You know, we might all sort of come from the same blood and flesh and all that stuff, but our own sort of unique imprint is going to be different. And when we kind of tap away from the insecurities of society and what it kind of deems for us to be successful, and we start to live in our true nature with our true qualities, that's when you'll start to feel like life is right, man. Because think about it like this, right? You've got so many different like hobbies and so many different sort of activities you can do on a daily basis that you can leverage. Not everyone's going to be interested in every single one, but for some people it might feel right. And the same goes with even like university and things like that, and even like studying, right, and a 9-to-5 job. A lot of people clown on it, but the thing is, you really can find a really good one that can balance with the rest of your life. And even nowadays, I'm pretty sure you got a lot of university studies that can get sponsored by a company, so you can work with them while studying. Like, that's pretty cool. That really is pretty cool. And especially nowadays with the exposure of internet and things like that, you can monetize a lot of things. Now, say for example, you take a doctor who's unhappy, right? To society and to, you know, maybe your peers and things like that, family or whoever, that seems like it's really impressive. But the doctor himself or herself isn't happy. But then you get someone who's like a fireman, who also is very valuable in society, who might not get paid as much, but then their family and peers won't respect them as much because, you know, the pay isn't that good. But the thing is, what if in the scenario that the person who is a firefighter who's saving lives every day as well, they find an investment opportunity, they find a way to monetize their sort of job. I mean, you know, you got like a lot of people on TikTok that are like recording their work nowadays and making, you know, good progress with that, especially with this exposure to the internet. You know, who's gonna sort of feel like their life is gonna be more right because they're truly happy with themselves, because they're living within the true nature of what they really want to do? Obviously the firefighter, right? Because that was a child who grew up, really respected the freedom that they had, and then they used it to their advantage. They said, forget society, I'm gonna do what I want to do whilst helping society. That's pretty cool, right? And so you got to kind of find that cool within yourself. If this kind of video does gravitate towards you, if you've been having the thoughts of why life feels wrong, which by the way, I'm pretty sure every single person has felt this once in their life, so don't feel like you're alone. You're not. Especially nowadays, a lot of people are kind of realizing this, mainly because either it's increased consciousness and people are starting to realize, having a greater awareness on life. Maybe it's that, or maybe it's just because of the state of the economy. People are questioning a lot of things now. But yeah, they pretty much realize that life as they get older isn't really what it's sought out to be. It's kind of just like working, and that's it. And that's why I want to go back to the hobbies comment I made earlier, because it's pretty crazy that you've got so many different hobbies that works for some people and others it doesn't, but they're still all fun to do. They're still all kind of right for the people to do, right? Same goes for the rest of your life. What is it if you were never judged, if no one really knew you in a sense? What would you do to make life feel right that doesn't feel right now, where it feels all completely wrong? Have a think about that for a second, because chances are that's what you need to do. And I don't believe in such a thing as, you know, the wrong path in life and things like that. I think it all shapes us into who we are, but I think our personal choices make a difference in terms of right or wrong, just mainly based on how we feel. So no one can really determine what is that apart from you. Think about it, right? What's the difference between a child and an adult in their mind, imagination, and freedom? So why not just, you know, try and practice that a little bit. Use your imagination, sort of daydream a little bit about what kind of looks cool to you, what kind of feels right to you, and then you can start attacking it. You've got step one done. All you've got to do after that is just take action. But the thing is, as we get older, we forget to tap into our kind of like childlike wonder and creativity, just because it's deemed as silly, it's deemed as, you know, being a child, and apparently being an adult is so serious. But It's not. It's literally, again, being a child with freedom, who has choices to do what they want to do. And the thing is, it's better to do this kind of stuff when you're younger, because again, you're going to have less responsibilities. Say you're like a 45-year-old man who's got kids and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot harder for them to kind of hop onto what they think is the right path. It's still very much doable. So if you are that person, you can still do it. It's just that there will be more sort of obstacles along the way. That's not to discourage you. That's just to say how it is. You can still do whatever it is that you set your mind to. So don't victimize yourself in any kind of way, and rather embrace what the journey of the quote-unquote wrong path has taught you, has led you to believe, and has led you to taking action upon the right one. But yeah, if you are on the younger side of life, have a think about this, because again, every kind of experience shapes you into the character you are. So sometimes you will need that wrong path in order to realize, but for the most part, you can just have a think, have a guess as to, you know, what you really want, rather than, you know, what maybe your parents or your peers, what is seen as cool for them. Because at the end of the day, how are you going to lead by example for the next generation and for the people around you if you're not really true to yourself, if you're not really true to what you want to do and what you want to believe in, you know? And that's the crazy thing about even apps like YouTube, like the one, you know, that you're on right now. There's so much information out there. It can give you information overload, which then you can start to question, yo, am I even doing the right thing? This person my age is making this much money, or that person there is traveling the world. And relax, just take a deep breath and just remember that all you have to really worry about is how are you going to get further in any way that you want to go. You know, because you don't know their life story, you don't know who they are, they're not you, so it doesn't even matter in the slightest. You can take it as inspiration, but don't live according to them, right? Because imagine the person that's really good at cooking, for example, maybe the best chef in the world, or who has the potential to become the best chef in the world, is too busy looking at the person who is like a hedge fund manager or something like that, and they just want to be like him or her. But the point is that it wouldn't make sense, right? So remember to leverage your talents, your skills, what you're good at, and go from there, man, honestly, because you're not on the wrong path. Even you clicking on this video, and even if you made it this far, trust me, you're better than you think you are. And thank you guys for watching. I missed out like so many points that I made in my last recording, and it's pretty late, so I apologize. But thank you guys for watching, and have a great day. Peace and blessings to you all.